And so far I'm batting 1,000 1 hour. So we will get you guys out of here by 8:30. So hopefully we can get baths and dinner and be in bed at a good time. You guys, not necessarily me. So anyway, my name is Jeff McClellan. I am one of the directors at Tsunami Volleyball. So how many of you guys here played with us last season? How many? Oh, good. All right, well, good to see some of you guys back in the gym. We were gonna go over a little bit about some of the things that are new, but we also wanna talk to, families that have not played club volleyball or not played for us specifically, to make sure that you guys understand what club volleyball is, how we get there, what we're trying to do, what our end goal, all of that sort of stuff. I want to introduce Matt. This is Matt Wilson. Many of you guys have seen his face. You know him. Matt is our Warner Robins director. He is, so Steve, you guys know Steve Rogers. Steve and I talked a couple of years ago about the possibilities of coming down and doing, and spoke to Steve and said, hey, the only way we can do this if we have somebody on the ground. And Steve was like, well, I got your guy. So that's where Matt comes in, and Matt's done a great job here. This is our second season here, and I will tell you that we certainly did not do everything right this past year. I would say the same thing for our place up there, and the place over there, and the place over there, which are all our facilities as well. And we probably won't do it all right this year, but we'll work to get better each season. So we value your feedback as we go, and we've certainly got some good feedback from you guys. So this is our, the first few slides here, and I know it's bright, and I kind of want to leave the lights on anyway. We'll be able to run through it. Our first few slides are a little bit of a brag book for us, just to let you guys know who we are and why you should play with us and why you should play club ball. This is our class of 2019. You guys might recognize this young lady right here, who played. This is our first signee from Tsunami Central Georgia. So she is part of our class of 2019, and she is off playing at Emory and Henry. So anyway, this is our class of 2019. These are our 2020 athletes that have already signed. Just so you guys know who we are, you've got Division I, you've got 3 or 4 Division Is in there, you've got some Division IIs, some Division IIIs. There's a little bit of everything in there. And I'm not gonna make you sit here and look at all of these. We're gonna speed through them a little bit. We've been doing this for about 20 years. And if you'll look at these as you go through, you'll see there's every level of college, from Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, and you'll see everywhere from New York to California, to Connecticut, to Florida, to everywhere in between. We've hit every major conference in one way or another. We've had kids recruited to Penn State, which at the time they were recruited was number 1. They've come off a little bit. We haven't sent anybody to Stanford. That's that's kind of on our wish list, because they're certainly one of the better programs. And then we get to 2006, and you realize we're just a bunch of dudes that don't take very good records. So we don't know what we did from 2000, 2001, 2002 through 2006. So we don't have records, although we've been around for 20 years. We just aren't very good at that part of the game. So this is for you who are familiar with club ball. This is kind of the pinnacle, is to have a team qualify for USA Volleyball. So we qualified this past year. We qualified 6 teams for USA Volleyball, 11s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 17s, and 18s. That's a really big deal. We are, without a doubt, one of the top clubs in the southern region, which is Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. There was only one other club that had more teams qualified than us. So this is kind of a big deal. It's, yay, we're patting ourselves on the back, in case you can't tell. But anyway, this is a big deal. You have to win stuff to get to do this. This is not freely given out. This is where we want you guys to get. This is where we're trying to head to. Then this is AAU Nationals. This one is USA Nationals, USA Volleyball. This is AAU Nationals, where it's a big deal to go, but you can buy your way in here. So we sent 10 teams to AAU Nationals in Orlando, including 14 Decks, which was our first team from Central Georgia to go. So we were pretty excited about that, and we will take another team and another team and another team as we go. And as you guys grow and as the program grows, we'll start to send more and more teams from here to there. So that's that. This is some of the things that we do best. This is our coaching staff. And this does not include the Central Georgia staff, which includes Dex. And, you got the Mercer staff is helping us out. You've got a good crew of coaches, including some new coaches that we will send you guys information on that were not here last year, that we're pretty excited about. They come in with some pretty good resumes. So this was our coaching staff for our South and North locations here. We've added another NCAA national champion to this staff. So anyway, let's get into the stuff that you guys care about the most. Age definitions. How old should you be playing? Your age that you're going to compete is how old you are next September 1st of 2020. So if you are 13 right now, and in August you turn 14, you're going to compete at 14 and under. And so, oh, my 11-year-old's on the 12-year-old team. Well, everybody on the 12-year-old team is 11. That's, during the season, and they all change to 12s as we go. Just about. So it's the age that you are. This is so important. If you don't get anything else, get this tonight. Every year we have kids show up for tryouts, or they miss a tryout because they thought they were a different age group. So this is a super big thing. The age you are next September 1st of 2020 is the age you would compete in for USA Volleyball. I put it on the front of that. I put it on that sheet. Did everybody get a sheet? Everybody? Yeah, okay. I'm going to cover everything that's on that sheet, but those are the things that we figured you would want to write down and have in your hands when you leave. So we'll make sure that you have it. The other thing is, I love to hear my own voice. I'm just kidding. Ask me questions as we go. This is a whole lot better as we cover things, if you have things you want to know, if you're asking as we go. So I know we're going to go into pricing and all that stuff in just a minute. So USA Volleyball age definitions. We run 3 types of teams. Out of Warner Robins, we're going to run 2 types of teams. We're going to run our elite teams, which are the ones that want to go play in college. Those are the ones who have the goal in mind of, I want to play after high school, and so I'm going to put the hours in the gym, I'm going to put the hours in the weight room, I'm going to do all the recruiting stuff that's necessary. These are true student athletes. They are not skipping practice because they have the test the next day, because they've planned ahead, because they know how important each part of that role is. So these are our elite teams. These guys compete against the best competition that we can find, okay? Our premier teams are our next level of teams. This is what 90% of clubs in the southern region are. They're going to play a nice tournament schedule. You have the opportunity to get in front of some college coaches. It's competitive. We work to be better. This is normal. This is, come on in, guys. Just everybody turn away. Just kidding. Welcome back. So anyway, so premier is normal club volleyball. This is what we did last year. We're happy with this. Everybody's happy with this. Our elite teams, and you'll see it on the schedule in terms of pricing, are the ones that we feel like we've got enough of a push from you guys last year that we want to offer the elite teams for those athletes that want to go play at college. So we'll run on through. So, a lot of this stuff is for our north and south teams, which are our other locations in Atlanta, but it's the same general idea. Elite want to play in college. Premier want to make their high school teams better, and they want to be the superstars on their high school teams. Usually is the case. All right, so we talked about this already. Try out for the highest level. Oh, we didn't talk about this. So at 16s and 17s, 15s, 16s, and 17s specifically, we have on there 2 levels of teams. You want to try out for the highest level you want to play. If you try out for Premier, we're not going to move you up to Elite, because that's telling us that that's not what you're looking for. If you try out for Elite and don't make it, we will give you the option to move down and possibly play on a Premier team. So when you show up, even though we're doing all the ages at the same time, you'll get a sheet of paper that says, I want to play Elite, I want to play Premier, I'll take whatever I can get. So when you check that box, we'll look at you guys. If you only want to play Premier, check the Premier box and don't worry about it. If you only want to play Elite, or if you want to play Elite, check one of the other 2 boxes so that we'll at least consider you for those teams. Does that make sense? I know that's a little bit of a little abstract if you've never done this before. Any questions about that at this point? We're good? We're good? Elite, so the question was, does Elite travel more? Yes and no. For you guys, unfortunately, there's this much that's local. So every one of your teams has to travel more than a normal area has to travel. So are they going to travel more? Probably not. But they are going to play higher level tournaments. So whereas 16 Premier may go play in a 1-day tournament in Atlanta, 16 Elite would play in a 2-day tournament in Atlanta. So you're going to get roughly the same number of tournament days, but it will be a higher level tournament. And it is possible that the Premier team may go to Atlanta when the Elite team goes to Birmingham. So there is a little bit more in that. Any other questions? All right, here we go. So here we go. So these are our tryout times. So 10s, 11s, and 12s are all together. And when we go over pricing in just a second, you'll see that there's a difference in 10s, 11s, and 12s and what we're going to do a little bit. But we're going to offer several different programs for 10s, 11s, and 12s. So what we're talking about now in terms of tryouts, these are for athletes that want to compete on a team. So you'll see we've got a price in there for 10s. We want to make a 10s team if we can. And those will be athletes that train specifically to go play in tournaments. They get jerseys, they do all that kind of stuff. There will be some opportunities outside of this for some of the younger kids to just come in and train, not necessarily play on teams. But 10-year-old volleyball is some of the most fun volleyball you'll ever see. So if you're interested, that is definitely a place to put your athletes. So 10, 11, 12, we'll try out together. We'll divide them up. You'll sign up. When you walk in, you'll check on a form as to which level you want to play. And the question is always asked about this time, can my kid play up? I have a 10-year-old, she wants to play on the 12-year-old team, is that possible? The answer is yes. The one thing we will not do is move a kid up to sit on the bench. That doesn't do anybody any good. So if your 10-year-old can play on a 12-year-old team and play a lot, yes, absolutely, let's do it. If your 10-year-old team is going to just go practice with those guys that never see the floor, then that's not good for the kid, nor the coach, nor you guys as a parent. So at that point, we would put them on a team that's a little bit more appropriate. So there was another question that always comes up at this point about playing time, since we talk about who's playing and who's not playing. At our premier level, playing time is not guaranteed. However, we will absolutely harass any one of our coaches that can't get a kid on the floor. If we can't get a kid on the floor, and I don't mean it's the finals and it's game 3 and you got to win, everybody doesn't have to play at that point. Sorry, that's the best 6 or 7 are going to play. But during the day, every kid's going to play up the premier level. Our conversation, so the conversation Matt and I will have with the coach is like, hey, if you can't get so-and-so on the floor, then let's put her in a better spot. Let's move her, let's get her to a better team that's more fitting, that needs athletes, or whatever. Let's find a better spot for her. So playing time at the premier level is not guaranteed, but it is our intention that every kid at the premier level is going to get a significant amount of playing time. At the elite level, things change a little bit. Every family's spending a lot of money to get to go play and get to be seen and have the opportunity to hopefully get recruited to play in college. And at that point, no playing time is guaranteed. I had the same conversation with the coach, but we're a lot more lenient with the coaches on that. You have to win some matches at the elite level. So once again, if we can never get the athlete on the floor, we're going to look at moving them to a different team. But there's definitely not a guarantee that you're going to play as much as you would like at the elite level. That's just the nature of the beast at that point. You're looking at me. Are we good? Am I explaining this well? Do you guys have any questions for what we've covered so far? Matt, am I good so far? Mostly? Okay. Matt's like, some of this stuff is a little different than what they've heard before, so we're evolving a little bit here. So I understand some of you guys at the end of this are gonna be like, whoa, that was a little different. And it is. We want those elite teams to be more. We want them to be something that your daughter's proud to carry her backpack to school, and she's proud to wear her shirts to school because she's doing something that other people aren't doing. So we want our elite program to be more, for lack of a better term. All right, so you got the tryouts here. 15s through 18s are in November, so we're not worried about those right now. If you absolutely cannot make it to these 2 tryout dates, there is a makeup tryout on Tuesday, October 15th. I will tell you it is in your best interest to email myself or to email Matt to let us know that what's going on. So we have a war board, we call it. We'll take a picture of your daughter. If she can't make it, she wants to play on the 13s. If she can't make it, we'll take a picture of her. We'll write down everything that we know about her. If she can't make it on this day because she's going to be in the Bahamas from a vacation we planned 2 years ago, okay, no problem. So we'll write all that out, and we put that on our war board. And so when we go to tryouts, Matt will hand that picture to each of the coaches and go, hey, you also have this athlete to consider. At that point, that's when we use this makeup day as a possibility. Now, if you just can't make it, or you have friends that didn't hear about it and they just want to show up, it's okay to just show up. But it's definitely better if you can let us know what's going on. All of the tryouts, all the practices are here at Windsor Academy for now. We hope that we grow and we grow and we grow, and we have to grow out of this place they're happy and we're happy and everybody's happy. But for right now, all the tryouts and practices are at Windsor Academy. This is a great location. Trial registration is open on our website. This is different. For those of you who played last year, definitely pay attention. This is totally new. This is not what anybody has ever done before. So with tryouts, you need to go to our website and register your daughter for tryouts. You will pay the registration fee, which is cheaper online than it is at the door. You'll pay the registration fee online and she will be registered. Then you'll have to go, and we'll send you an email that says what to do, but you'll have to go to srva.org. srva.org will then send you to USA Volleyball Web Point. USA Volleyball Web Point is where you will register and you'll pay $5, which will cover you for insurance during tryouts. You will get a card that you will have to bring with you to show us at tryouts at $5. That's all on you. If you show up and you haven't done it, you'll have to stand in line and we'll have to do it here, and you don't want to do that. So be sure and do it in advance and bring that card with you. After tryouts, you make a team, you're happy, everybody commits, you're going to play on our 14-1 team. You now go home and you go back on WebPoint where you log back in, and now you pay the USA registration, which is like another $50 to complete your registration, and then you'll click in there what club you're playing for. Playing for Tsunami Volleyball. And so then it will automatically populate our spreadsheet as far as where you guys are going. We don't have anything to do with it. We can't say we can do it for you. We can't have anything to do with it at all. This is coming down from USA Volleyball. I think people were getting hurt at tryouts, and the insurance companies were saying, can't help it. So now USA Volleyball is mandating that that be done in advance. So that's different than before. Any questions about that? And again, we'll send you, once you're registered, we will send you an email with instructions. All right, since we now have 2 levels here, do I have to pay twice if I try out and don't make one and I play for the other? No, it's one registration for tryouts. So whatever team you make, that's the one cost. You don't have to worry about that at all. As I said, there'll be a sheet of paper that you'll fill out when you come in as far as what level you want to play, or we'll have somebody sitting on a laptop that can populate a spreadsheet. So here's the thing that's a little bit different. Did we do this last year? Did we tell them before they left? We're not going to do that this year. Okay. So we want to let you know as quickly as possible what team that you made. So Matt will let you know that night how quickly we'll get that information out. If we can do it that night, we'll do it that night. And sometimes it works out that way. And that would be our preference. But we'll let you know as quickly as possible because we know that you guys have, some of you are looking at multiple options. So we want to make sure that you know where you stand with us as quickly as possible. So what happens after that? So let's say that we offer your daughter a spot and she accepts that spot. You need to let us know, yep, I am good to go. So the region will tell you that you have 5 days to make a decision. And at the end of 5 days, that's when it's time to write a check and fill out all the paperwork and everything. So our tryouts are on Saturday. By that Thursday, you can commit officially. Now you can commit to us verbally prior to that, and we'll commit to you and you're good. But you have 5 days for you to decide. Once I offer your daughter a spot, she has a spot, you can then hold that spot until the end of 5 days and come back and take it or not take it. From a financial standpoint for the club, we have to fill up the teams. If one kid walks out thinking maybe, not a big deal. If 5 kids walk out thinking maybe, we're going to go get 4 or 5 other kids that want to play and go ahead and commit to them. So now I've got a team of 10, and if those 5 kids come back, I now have a team of 15, and you can see the problem there. So not that we're trying to bully anybody into making a decision, but the faster you make the decision, the better it is for everybody. So if you know you want to play here, play here. If you know you don't tell us right away. Don't play the let me dangle this one and dangle that one and see which one I can get. Pick one and move on. Because it's a problem if we delay for very long. Does that make sense? Everybody gets it? Okay. All right. Any questions about tryouts? You guys, either I'm doing a great job or the end of this is going to be crazy when we figure out what else we need to do. So what happens after the end of tryouts? We have commitment day. This is different from ours last year. Yay, we're learning as well. We're going to have a drop-in commitment day. And what that means is, I hope on Saturday morning, we haven't hashed this out with Matt, but I hope on Saturday morning, so tryouts are Sunday, tryouts are Saturday. Trials are Saturday. The following Saturday, we hope to be here in the gym, and for a period of about 4 hours, you can come in. I think it's actually the next week. I think it's the following week is when we hope to be able to do it. Push that a little bit. All right. So yeah, we had college stuff going on. So anyway, we will have you guys come by. You drop off your paperwork. You drop off your check. You do your uniform fitting here all in one, and then you'll get your practice schedule, your tournament schedule all at the same time. You'll fill out a sheet for us that says these are my issues. Like I've got prom on this night, or I've got a vacation here, just so that we can, if we have options with scheduling, we can take those into account as much as possible. So, and that's all on that. That's why it's easy for me to say. So anyway, so it is a commitment day, but it's a drop-in, which is different than what we've done before. For 15s through 18s, we will ask you guys to come to Atlanta because there will be some additional stuff that goes on that is part of the commitment process for the older athletes. So we ask you guys to come like 3 times. There's a January scrimmage and picture day where we have you guys come up, you get your uniforms, and then then for the older athletes, there's a recruiting day that you need to come up and sit through our recruiting meeting. We'll talk about everything of what our expectations are for you and what your expectations of what we should be doing. It's something we've done for a while now, and there's a lot to it. So get ready for a little more homework. Sorry, guys. All right, so let's talk about the money. Any questions about what we've gone through so far? Okay. Yes. We're going to let you know, coaches, within this next week, I hope. I know that Matt has talked, he and I have talked about where we're putting. There are always issues at this time of year with scheduling. There are always issues with high school coaches can't coach any of their kids at 15s and over. So we've got to make sure that unfortunately, we have to go ahead and schedule 18s through 10s, even though we're a month away from 15s through 18s. So we hope to start putting out some of those now, which leads me to social media. I got you. So which leads me to social media. Instagram and Facebook is where we post all of our stuff. If you have one of the 2 of those, and I'll put the names up later, follow us on them, because we can do it from our phone, we can do it quickly and easily, and so we give the most information on those 2. We put everything on the website, but that we have to go home, sit down in front of a laptop. It just takes a little while longer. So we've already posted most of our South coaches on Instagram. We'll do the same thing for Central Georgia and Rome and the other places over the next week. So as quickly as we can. Yes, ma'am. So the question is, how long is the season? So if you are, our tryouts are in October and early November. And so basically we start in November. We run November, we take a break at Thanksgiving, we run until like a week before Christmas, and then we take off until January. In January, we start back up, and it's tournament season, January, February, March, and April. 90% of you will be finished in April. There is a group that will decide they want to go on to nationals, and so they will train for an additional 6 weeks. It is an additional expense. There was a group that did it last year from here, and I think they all had a good experience. But that group will finish in the 1st of July. It's actually July 4th is usually the last day of nationals. So it's really November to April with a little bit extra on the end if you choose to. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure because I didn't even realize this was here. I played volleyball in Texas growing up, but I have a daughter who's 12, so she'll be in 13. She has never played at all. This sounds like this may be more competitive than.
So the short version is she has a daughter who hasn't played volleyball before. Is this something that would, is this a possibility? So did we have beginners last year? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So in each age group, we want to take, and I'll go through it as we go, but we want to make, and will make more than one team per age group. So does your daughter make our 14-1 team? If she's 6'9" and touches 10'6", yes. If she's a normal average 13, 14-year-old, probably not, but she probably does make her 14-2 team. Or maybe she makes, one of the other teams. So there's more than one opportunity to play. So definitely worth coming out. And if she's athletic, honestly, at 14 and under, we're looking at much as athletes as we are looking at skill set.
Would they make this gym available? Like, I guess it's probably not, but like if I wanted to work with her and try to get her to where, she's.
So the question was, is there a time for her to get her daughter in the gym? So we don't have enough gym space to just open the gym and let people come in. However, we do, and we'll get to it in a second, we do have clinics and camps and stuff that go on consistently that are opportunities to get in for an hour or 2 hours at a time. And then we're looking at some open gym time as well, where they're going to come in and play. So I wouldn't sweat it as much as you think. As long I know, because nobody wants their kid to fail and not make the team. I get it for sure.
I want her to be prepared.
Sure. I would recommend that when we put these, and we'll put them on our website. Are we running clinics here now? We just finished our Sundays. Okay, so we'll.
And she did that, yeah.
She did do the clinics. Okay, so there are some open gyms coming out. So if you want to grab her and stand, work against the wall and that sort of stuff with her during the open gym, you're more than welcome to come in and grab a ball and play. Go for it. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to go over that in this. So I'll talk about that in just a second. Was there a second question? Okay. So her question is, my daughter also plays other sports. So in a perfect world for us, yes, we'd love for her to quit everything and just, come compete with us, be in the gym 6 days a week, and we're going to win every national championship available. But we know that's not realistic. We are happy for your kids to play other sports. We do expect there to be some level of commitment to the other 9 or 10 kids on the team. But we're also super willing to work with other coaches. And usually, we'll talk to the soccer coach and go, hey, listen, 10 minutes early she leaves your practice on this day, 10 minutes early she leaves my practice on this day. And when it usually can work out pretty well. If it's occasionally there's a coach that doesn't, but we deal with those when we have to. All right, so here's the deal. So this is what we ran last year in terms of our levels of teams, premier levels of teams. We have gone up a little bit on some of these because we're adding in some additional better tournaments. So there are some better ones in Atlanta, including some that we're running. There's a 2-day that we're running, but I think it only went up like $150. I don't think it went up a bunch, but nonetheless, it is going up a little bit because we want you to play a little bit higher level tournament. And that mainly means more 2-day tournaments than just 1 day. So there will certainly be some 1-day tournaments in here, but there will also be a couple of 2-day tournaments that you didn't do last year. So this is roughly how many tournaments you're going to play in. So these are not necessarily indicative of tournament days. So at 10s and 11s, we don't want you to play in 2-day tournaments if we can avoid it. We want to play 1-day tournaments. Because that's what 10 and 11-year-olds should do. So we'll try and get you guys. So this should be 4 tournament days. At 12s, we will probably play 3 1-day tournaments, and I'm making this up off my head. We'll probably play 3 or 4 1-day tournaments and a 2-day tournament. And then we'll go into these as well. 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, you'll probably play a couple of 1-day tournaments, then some of these better 2-day tournaments that we want you to compete in. Matt, how often last year did we add extra tournaments after this? I know there were a couple of times that we brought in. Yeah, I know that Elena came up and played. When we we run in our building tournaments every weekend, and when they're not full, we reach out within our club. So it is possible that your 6-day tournaments may be 8 to 10, but you'll get a phone call that says, hey, you want to play next Saturday? Nah, okay. Hey, you want to play next Saturday? Yeah, all right, great, get your friends and come on. So there'll be some other options for you guys possibly to jump in and play some additional tournaments. So, but this is what we're guaranteeing. Our premier teams are not going to play Big South. We did play regionals, right? We are going to play regionals, not going to play Big South. So Big South is the national qualifier in Atlanta. It's expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. Parking expensive. Admission's expensive. But it's a great recruiting opportunity. So this, as you notice, this is only 10s through 16s. 10s and 11s. This is super expensive, like I said, because these are just 1-day events. We want as many kids as we can. our club-wide, we don't cut anybody at 14 and under. I don't know that we have the gym space to do that here, but that's our goal. So 10 and 11-year-old that comes in, we're gonna find a spot as much as possible to get them in the gym and get them up and running. This is the total cost for everything you'll pay to Tsunami. Some clubs will say, this is our fee, and then you join and you go, oh, here's our uniform fee, oh, here's our travel fee. And so they start off with the $500, and then all of a sudden you realize it's $2,500 or $3,000. You didn't know it. So this is everything. You can figure your budget on this number. It does not include your travel. So if you're going to somewhere, you and your daughter, you have to pay for your way to get there, and you have to pay for your hotel rooms. We have a lot of families that want to stay at the Motel 6, a lot of families that want to stay at the Ritz. We're good with that. So we'll let you guys do whatever you want to do. We will book rooms, we will book hotels and go, hey, at the Embassy Suites on this address, we've got a block of 10 rooms. That block is open until such and such. You can call, put your credit card down and reserve a block and stay there. But you're free to do what you want to do on 99% of the tournaments. Any questions about this? This is what most of you are going to be doing. This is the pricing for most of the teams we're going to be running. Yes, ma'am. So the apparel package, this is our Premier package, which is, so we have Elite, we have Premier. In order to keep the costs down, all of the teams here get the Premier package. It's 2 jerseys, it's 2 pairs of spandex. I'm doing this by memory. It's a backpack. What else did we do? Did we do the hitter's tee, a bunch of t-shirts. What else did we do? What else did you guys get last year? That may be it. So the bag, 2 jerseys, 2 spandex, warm-up shirts, and then we'll give you guys the opportunity to purchase the other stuff that that's available, the sweatpants and the shoes and all that kind of stuff if you want to. But that will be separate. Yes, ma'am. Matt, do you know the times and dates of practices yet? Obviously, this is a little bit inconclusive.
We have nothing in stone yet. Last year we went Monday. All right, so last year we went Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we took some Fridays and we moved to Wednesdays. And we had to go to Tuesday. So learning from our errors or however you want to look at it, we may back away from Fridays. But we may need them just a little bit. We have the gym Monday through Friday from 5:30, and we have the gym Saturday mornings and Sunday afternoons. So our goal is to, depending on our numbers, which is very tough until tryouts and we know what we have, it's very difficult to say exactly what days. We try our best to accommodate the younger kids. We want to put them earlier in the evening. That's how we did it. It seemed to work really well. Then we go later in the evening with the older kids, especially when they can drive on their own. So that seems to be our best situation. So right now I can't tell you that, hey, if you make a 13-1s team, you're going to practice Monday and Thursday, but it's usually not back-to-back days. Try to go a good day or two in between practices, but we'll have to kind of iron that out as we see what kind of teams we have.
That is every club, everywhere. As you write out this plan, we're going to have 50 teams, and all of a sudden you have 20, and or 70, and things change dramatically. So any other questions here? I saw a hand. Yes, ma'am. Nope. So you guys asked the right question, so I've got a slide at the end of this that says there are 2 ways to pay. Number 1 is write a check up front for the whole thing, and there's a 3% discount if you pay it off up front, which is, it's a little bit of money. So that's an option. There is also a payment plan option where on the commitment day when you come in and hand in your paperwork, you hand in a check. And that check is anywhere from a couple of $100 up to, I think this is like $450 is the most. And then it's 3 or 4 even payments after that. We want to set it up so it's easy to come out of a credit card on the website, and you set it up and it's just automatic. Is the easiest way to do it. We not going to run anybody off if they're willing to talk to us and figure out We do have a couple of families that have some alternative plans. But that's the normal way, is to write a check or set up a payment plan on the website. Any other questions? All right, this is what's new. We're going to go elite. 3 elite teams here is our goal. Now, this may end up being 1 elite team of 15s, 16s, and 17s. We'll figure it out as we go. But these are athletes that express an interest in playing at the collegiate level. They want to be competing against the best athletes. They want to spend the extra time. These are the kids that usually show up 20 minutes early, and your mama's having to drag them out of the gym at the end of the night. So if that's your kid, then this might be where you want to go. It is more expensive, but you are going to play Big South. You are going to play regionals. You're going to play the same stuff the other teams are going, but you're also going to play Big South as a national qualifier. You'll also play at the Atlanta 2-Day, which is the event that we run at our facility with a couple of other clubs. It's higher level play. And our expectations of these guys, not necessarily from a performance standpoint, but our expectation of a commitment standpoint and desire standpoint is greater. So in the beginning, they may not go win a national championship, but we expect them to be busting their tails in the gym, and we expect it to be a little different level of commitment here. These athletes have to tell us at the beginning when prom is, otherwise they don't go to prom because they've made a commitment to the team. So they tell us when prom is, we don't schedule a tournament that day. That's the level that we're looking for here. So obviously that's only the 17-year-olds, but we're still going to, and in order to keep it now, we're still going to go this Premier Apparel package. You're still going to play the same number of tournaments, but now you've picked up a couple of 3-day tournaments that are a little bit bigger. I know Big South is typically either on Easter weekend, which is terrible, but it is, or it's on a weekend where you're going to miss it, a Friday or a Monday of school. So you make a commitment when you sign up to play in that tournament that is painful for everybody, one way or another. So this is something we want you to be serious about when you come in and you check the elite level. You don't want to do what everybody else is doing. You want to play at a higher level. And that's why it's a little bit more money. And the same rules apply. This is everything you're going to pay to us. It does not include travel. Any questions about this? I was really expecting questions on this. So this is, again, we may get 10 kids that want to play at this level, and we may put those 10 kids, all 15, 16, 17s on one team, and we just start to groom those kids. These kids will be invited to the recruiting clinic that we do at South in Forest Park. That you'll come in and you'll meet with the college coaches and you'll meet with me and we'll talk about, what my expectations are. And you have to do a video of yourself playing and all those things. There's extra work involved here, but it's worth it. The whole reason we have those slides at the beginning is because of these teams. These teams are going to try and play tournaments where college coaches are. So Dex is one of our coaches. He recruits at Big South. He's going to recruit possibly at regionals. And they'll play a couple of other tournaments where college coaches come because we want to put them in front of college coaches as much as we can. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. So are all the tournaments drivable? Yes. Yes. So there is a question about possibly going to, and Matt and I talked about this as maybe a negative, maybe a positive, possibly going back to Franklin for one tournament. I know there was a couple of teams that ended up being at the very, very end of the day, and they weren't very, very happy when they had to drive home. I get it. I totally get it. But unfortunately, geographically, where you are is not the volleyball mecca. And so you're going to drive to Orlando, or you're going to drive somewhere to have to get to play better teams. So we've still got to work out a little bit of that schedule, but I know Matt is conscious of getting you home before it's too late. We know how that works. But Orlando, unfortunately, is the same distance as Nashville. 15 minutes. See, we're good. We're going to make it. No problem. All right. Here's what we haven't done before, and this is an experiment, and Matt and Dex, as Matt and Jason were both like, no, it's probably not going to fly. 18s. This is more expensive, but you're playing qualifier, 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 not a qualifier, but a huge tournament, not a qualifier, but a huge tournament, in addition to several other tournaments. This price at any other club is $2,500 to $3,000. We know that we're going to lose money on this team, and we're willing to do that if we have the athletes that want to play. This is, don't play this unless you are willing to do the work. This is elite, but this is the final stop of elite. You have to be wanting to play in college, and you have to be willing to do the work. I'm not going to chase you, but I will say ugly things about you if you're on this team and you don't do the homework that I ask you to do. You will get, your mother will get letters from me, not you, about how you're not doing your homework and she's wasting money on you. That sounded tough, didn't it? But it is true. It is true. This is the end right here. This is what we would like to do. This is a team of kids that want to play in college. They're going to play at a high level. They're not going to play any one-day tournaments. Every tournament they're going to play in is one that we hope college coaches are recruiting them during. We are willing to go back to here and put an 18s team in. But if you play at this level at 18s, you don't want to play in college. Your goal is just to play because you want to keep playing, and that's fine. There's nothing in the world wrong with that. But this is where we're headed. So, Tsunami Central, Georgia, this is next year. This is this year, hopefully. This is definitely next year and the years after that, because this is what we're after. There are a lot of rec departments where you can just go play on Saturday mornings. And I'm not saying that to be ugly. We love the rec departments, but this is what we do. This is what we do well. Any questions? Anybody want to yell insults at me? Yes, sir.
So I know up in Atlanta, y'all got a lot of experienced coaches. You're talking about putting together elite programs, which I think we can do. The kids down here have the talent, but are we going to have consistent coaching at that level that's going to help our kids?
So, yes. That's been part of our conversation with Matt, and that was one of the things that we did well and we did poorly this past season was signing our coaches. We've added 3 or 4 coaches that have national level experience that were not here this past year. So we've got a good group of coaches that we'll be releasing over the next week with a little bit of their resumes. So you'll be able to see. We've got some people who have come in, who have moved into town. Dex's grad assistant is going to be part of what we're doing as well. So she's coaching at a collegiate level. So it is, we've been able to keep the best from last year and add more to it. So it's an excellent question. It's an excellent question. Probably the best question of the night. Anybody want to follow that question? Yeah, exactly. There have to be more questions. There's no way that I covered all the answers because I don't even know all the questions. All right, so college recruiting, as I said, 15s through 18s, if you're at the elite level, you have to deal with me, you have to answer to me, you have to do my homework. You will have to do videos, you will have to come to the recruiting clinic in Atlanta on that one Saturday morning where we talk about what is required, how to make your channel, how to do the videos, how to contact coaches, what information they want to get from you. Dex can tell you I send out a weekly email that we update every week with, hey, these are the new kids who actually did their homework. You want to be one of the kids that's highlighted in yellow because then coaches are going to click on your new stuff. And so that's something we'll talk about at the recruiting clinic. But this is, we're getting serious now, and this is kind of where you're headed. So elite teams, you have to do this. All right. As I said, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you have your phone with you, put it in now, because this is where we give you guys the most up-to-date information. So obviously we'll have your email addresses. If you're playing for us, we'll send out emails, but stuff like coaching announcements, things like that, the fact that we're actually hosting the 18s bid tournament at our place, the fact that we've added 2 more courts at our place. We now have 7 competition courts and 9 practice courts. So you guys who have been to our facility, we're adding a weight room, we're adding a physical therapy room, and 2 more courts to it. So all that kind of stuff we talk about on our Instagram and Facebook pages because that's where we get the opportunity to send that out. So for those of you who have been to our building, the auto parts people, they're gone. That's like 40 more parking spots. Yay, amen. That's like 40 more parking spots. They're getting rid of the big truck in the back, which adds another 8 spots, and they're giving up their space so we can get 2 more courts. So we only been waiting for that for about 8 years. All right, everybody has this that wants this. I think I put it on the bottom of that sheet as well. Did I? Okay, good. It's on the bottom of that sheet as well. All right, this is actually VBALL. I didn't realize I cut it off. Oops. All right, so anyway, I think on the sheet it has the full thing. This is what we talked about earlier, open gym training sessions. Get your kid in the gym if you're not sure whether they belong here or not. Let them meet the coaches, let them meet other athletes. On our website, it is exceptionally easy to sign up for clinics. When you go to the clinic page, click on Central Georgia. It'll pull up and it says, my daughter is this age, she has this amount of experience. You click, 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 boom. These are all the clinics that would apply to your daughter. So right now we may have finished all of those, so it may be that we've got to put some more up, but that's where we'll put open gyms, that's where we'll put some clinics that we want to run. This is who we are. We want to be transformational instead of transactional. If you guys play for us, you will get to learn all of our mantras, which was one of the things we did poorly this past year. I'm gonna see if I can memorize them. Sweep the shed, iron sharpens iron, leave the jersey in a better place, BP equals a BT, which is better people equal a better tsunami. Hana Hana, which means we're gonna do selfless acts of service, which some of you guys did, and I thought it was awesome this past year. And now I forgot what the 6th one is. I'll get it in a minute. But anyway, so we have mantras that you guys will have to live by in order to play for us. Sweep the shed means clean up the gym after yourselves. All right, so anyway, so this, you'll hear more about this later. There's the 2 ways to pay we talked about, payment plan, check in full, 3% discount. Oh, we don't charge you anything in December so that you can actually buy Christmas presents. But we start in January. All right. This is the cell phone number to the office. Heather talks more than I do, and she has it with her at all times, so you can reach her at any point. Am I lying? No. Heather will tell you everything you ever want to know. Heather will tell you for sure. So she has this with her. You can reach her 24 hours a day, but please don't. Info@tsunamivolleyball.com comes to myself, Gunn, that was with me last year, for those of you who were here, and Heather, I'll get that email address. That is on there. There is a CG@tsunamivolleyball.com, which goes to Matt and Heather and myself, which is specific to Central Georgia. So it's on your sheet. It's not on here, but it's on your sheet. So you can reach us at any point with any type of a question. All right. Yes. Okay. Yes. We like to skip over the payment things because it's painful for all of us. We just scroll through this fast. All right. Can I answer any other questions about anything that other people might want to know? Yes, ma'am. Are we going to have long sleeve jerseys this year? For you guys, I don't think so in the Premier package, I'm sorry. We do have a long sleeve jersey every year, but it is the Elite package, and it's just stupid expensive. It's crazy. But we have to have 3 jerseys if we're playing a whole bunch of 3 or 4 day tournaments. Other questions that I hopefully have better answers for than that one. You definitely are one of my favorite kids, though, for sure. No question. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Practices are, no, we don't get here. We're over there at the other gym. But that does lead us to some changes that we're making there. Matt, do you want to talk about those, or do you want me to talk about those? You want me to talk about those? All right. So, yeah, you guys are welcome to go if you want to. We're going to be finished in about 3 seconds here. At the other gym, we are looking at changing the flooring out. We have already worked it out with Windsor to be able to do so. We are drilling in holes to be able to put the poles in permanently. We're going to lay sport court down in there so the tile won't be an issue for us, because I know it was a little bit of an issue in terms of slip sliding, and some of the tiles were coming up. So that may not happen by November 1st, but that will happen. It will happen by January for sure. We're doing the same thing up there, so it'll be in conjunction with the two together. More questions, more questions, more questions. Steve, did I leave anything out? Did I miss anything that you remember? Yes, ma'am. So all of our Central Georgia practices happen in this building, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to do the information session here, so you guys can see on a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock what it looked like trying to get to practice. Yes, ma'am. The apparel package does not include shoes, correct? So we are sponsored by Nike. So we will have a Nike shoe that you can buy at our cost, which is like 85 bucks. It is the Nike volleyball shoe. And you'll get once you commit to a team, you'll get an email that says, here's the link. You can click it and you should get it before Christmas. And it would ship directly to you from the Nike people. You guys are not required to wear anything other than the spandex and the jerseys, you know, the t-shirts and stuff that we provide. So you can wear whatever shoe you want to. That's not an issue. Socks, knee pads, whatever, you can wear whatever it is that you want to. Just the jerseys and the spandex will have to be uniform. Yes, sir. That is still something going on here. That will be, yes, is the answer to your question, for sure. Yes, for sure. And I know you guys have done a couple of other things that we can't do in Atlanta that you guys did that have gone well that I know Matt is planning on doing.
All right, so real quick, yes, we'll be doing fundraiser as well as sponsorship opportunities. As we said earlier today, we learned from our past, right? So last year's sponsorships were so-so. Some people did great, made their entire tuition out of sponsorships, and then others were like, this is really difficult and I don't like this. So the theory this year is we'll do fundraising, which is not mandatory, but if you do it, you can lower your tuition. So we're going to give you the opportunity to get out there and do it. Boston Butts, car wash, things that are easy to get people to commit to. And we did some Boston Butts last year for our national team, and it went over great. People were begging for more. So I think that'll be a great opportunity for us to help lower your cost. And then with the sponsorship, we'll have those opportunities where you can go into some local businesses and they can go ahead and make some donations to us, which will help with your tuition as well. But we're not gonna only do the sponsorship. We're gonna make it a little more creative so that the businesses get a little bit something out of it for them. But it's not going to be the $5. Now you can go get a donation from your sister, and they can give you $100, and that's great. You'll go 100% to the tuition. I don't care where you get your money. That's fine. But as far as true sponsorships, corporate type sponsorships, we're going to have very specific ones, and we're not going to sit there and make it very difficult like we did last year. So I apologize for that. Any other questions for me or Jeff? On the practices, again, they will not be in this building. There's another building right behind there. If you haven't been to any of our clinics or are new to us, we have 2 courts in there. The school is allowing us to drill this floor, so our goal is that we will be able to come in here. The problem we have is it is a school. They have after-school functions. Their basketball and other programs come in here and have to use it. So we don't have this gym as a normal opportunity. But if we get enough teams and we have to have some overflow, our goal is to be able to put some teams in here a little bit later in the evening and possibly have the opportunity to have 3 courts going at the same time, which may even lead us to the opportunity to put tournaments or something. So like Jeff said earlier, we are growing and we continue to hopefully get to the point where we can actually have a bigger facility or the requirement for a second facility. So any other questions on that? Yes, we'll have information for you. So there's a question about fundraising and how do I get the information and how do we know what it is. So we will have that information for you at tryouts. So when you try out, we'll be able to say this is what we're going to offer as an opportunity so you can kind of get an idea. This may help me lower the costs, or I don't like this idea, the cost is too much for me. And that may be something you just make that decision at one time.
We have a few extra shirts, so if you guys are interested in any of those.
It's still a shirt.